broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
All right.
Yes.
We're giving props to the Eagles tonight.
Yeah.
Not only did you guys win tonight, you're the only team to beat my New York Jets, so we're going to get into it.
Yes, we are.
Hey, guys, tonight, Monday Night Football, we had the New York Giants at the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm sure you watched the game if you're watching this. The Eagles did win the game. I'm your host, Stef Z, and tonight on the panel, we've got the lovely Steve Kaufmann.
I am here and excited.
You're here.
My Eagles.
You're wearing a Papali jersey.
I am wearing a Vince Papali jersey. You thought it was a Jets jersey.
Well, the old Jets jerseys
that's exactly
look like
what
that.
they look
And
like.
well, actually, it doesn't have the spacing in this stripe. But I was just like, wait a minute, what is happening? How have I not known that we were one? But now I understand. We still are one.
We are one in color.
Yes.
Wardrobe choices.
Perfect. And where can the people tweet you during the show if they'd like to talk Eagles?
The people can tweet at me at Steve Kaufmann. That is Kaufmann. If you see the hashtag I bleed green, I started it about 3 years ago.
Oh, and we've also got returning to the panel, Jonathan. He made the cut. He's here.
Right. All right. 2 weeks in a row. Yes, you can find me at Kaibacat, Kaibacat, at Kaibacat.
Yes, and we unfortunately Tina Cap will not be with us tonight. She had something, a scheduling conflict with NFL Network, so she is there working. But we love her. We miss her. She's great. All right, let's just put it on the table. This is one of the sloppiest games I think I've seen. Could it be years?
Dear Lord, it's up there. I mean, this was hard to watch. This was a hard game to watch.
It was hard to watch, but in the same sense, it was almost like that train wreck where you're like, okay, I don't want to leave. Like, I know what's going to happen, but I don't want to leave because I don't want to miss it. Because if someone tells me what happened, it's not going to be as... Like, could you imagine if you left and didn't see a play like the butt fumble or something like that? People would tell you, but you want to see it live.
This was that kind of game where something like a butt fumble could have happened. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Instead, we saw 5 interceptions.
Yep.
Plus a couple of fumbles and
I believe
more.
there was 7 turnovers.
7 turnovers total, 5 of which were interceptions, 1 of which was a touchdown.
Dear Lord.
Insane. A couple pick sixes.
No, we saw a couple.
So
pick six,
my first impression. We'll talk first impressions, and we'll kind of just go along through the game. I think I was alone last week in picking the Giants. I'm from New York. I have to pick the Giants. The Eagles beat my Jets. We get it. The Giants came out strong. I was happy with my pick. I was like, we got this. Eli Manning's on. Odell Beckham Jr. is playing. His hamstring's feeling fine.
That first touchdown right off the bat. Odell Beckham,
silencing.
fantastic.
Yeah, and it was like the slant pass that he does, it works. He got it. He went in. He like slid into the touchdown. No one touched him. Fine. I was like... we got this.
Right off the bat, the first 2 series of the entire game were 100% Giants. Eli Manning, his mechanics looked absolutely solid. He was quick. He was moving well. Odell Beckham looked, fresh. The offensive line of the Giants just gave him tons of time. I mean, it looked solid. The defense of the Eagles looked a little lazy. I even have this. Lazy, 2 series. They looked lazy. They looked rough. And then from that point on, after that second series, the entire game was exactly the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was
Dear Lord.
They are not a very consistent team, and this is coming from a fan.
Who's not consistent?
The Eagles.
Yeah.
The only thing that the Philadelphia Eagles have done consistently for me is frustrate me.
Fair enough.
Even when they're winning, even on a night like tonight where I'm like, oh, they won handedly. I'm still just like, Sam Bradford got picked off 3 times.
Yeah, but not even that. The thing that I was left with is when you got someone like Eli Manning facing Sam Bradford, you're still, okay, they had a great start, strong start. Then it was like they all clocked out and went to lunch. But then you're like, he'll clock back in. It's Eli Manning. Like, we'll be okay. He'll come back. We're down 1 possession. We're down 2. will still come back because the Eagles are much, and I feel your pain. Like,
they're not a consistent team.
Right. Even if you're winning by 14 points, you're like, I don't know yet. Can't get excited.
Yeah.
So I think that was, but I don't know. I really believe, hard to say, but I really believe that maybe, do you think, Steve, as a fan, the Eagles finally found the rhythm, or do you think this was a lucky win, an ugly game, and a blessing in disguise?
Dear Lord, I hope you haven't found your rhythm, because if this is the Eagles' rhythm, it's going to be a long season for you, my
but
friend.
even with that, finding their rhythm on their offense. DeMarco Murray was running. That was happening. Miles Austin, sorry. It's late. Was, they're finding connections and tandems that they haven't found yet this season.
Yes.
So are they building those relationships, or is it just still messy for you?
It still looks very messy to me, and I write off a lot of that more to the Giants not being a very good defense. The Giants being
fair.
like one of the worst defenses in the league against rushing. Someone will tell me if I'm wrong, but that's what my fantasy.
Ben will. Where's Ben?
Ben, fantasy stat guru. Love you, Ben. Shout out. Yeah.
Would Ben be in the chat? Because I don't have the battery.
Yeah.
I don't have the battery to keep my
Ben
Wi-Fi
might be in the
on.
chat. Yeah,
if we get the chat up there.
Yeah, if you guys can put the chat up for us, we'll see if Ben knows. He's good like that. If not, he'll let you know tomorrow.
I know that they were one of the worst heading into this game. Although the Philadelphia Eagles were one of the worst.
Yeah.
Like rushing per down. Like I think it was 3.8. Yeah. Rushing per attempt.
What was the spread on this game? Do you know? I forgot.
Don't know offhand, but it was going to be high. If I were setting it, I would have put it I would have put it more than 45 because this looked like it was going to be a shootout.
It did, and that was the thing going in too. I actually saw the game with a friend of mine, and that was nice. And we both went in like, "All right, here comes a shootout." And then the announcers are like, "Whoa, there's going to be a shootout!" And everyone's like, "Yay, shootout!" It was none of that.
No.
It was none of that. The one redeeming quality is we did finally see a good game out of DeMarco Murray.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying. Like
Thank
a couple
goodness.
of things that they couldn't get working, and I really feel like we've been questioning Chip Kelly's offseason choices, and tonight I finally can see. Oh, that's what they're trying to do. I feel like that's what I mean in
I
saying
agree
it's
with you.
like, oh, this is the offense. This is all the pieces of the puzzle. Like we can see the pieces make a puzzle.
I saw that in the little glimpse we got in the preseason. In the preseason
That's
when
fair.
they went 4-0 in the preseason, then I was really excited for this team because they looked like
Right.
they looked like the team they almost looked like today, where they just looked like a good, solid, like playoff worthy team. And then the regular season started, and I remember
Ben is here. Sorry to interrupt. He said that the run D was good before this.
They were number 2 coming in. Is that what someone else is
I feel like they were 2 the other way.
2 the other way.
Yeah.
Because I have an extension on my Firefox that hacks into Yahoo and tells me specifically whether a team's run or pass defense is good or bad, and then ranks it and puts that ranking just straight in your...
honestly, this game was so sloppy. Even if there was a good versus bad, it all balanced out. You had strip balls. You had crazy interceptions. You had weird fumbles. You had 2 intentional grounding by Eli Manning. He pretty much threw the ball to Connor Barwin at one point. You've had the most crazy plays you wouldn't see. It was just like, for lack of a better word, I don't want to say it, but it was just a bad show.
It was a bad
showing.
Yeah.
The only thing that kept me excited was obviously that my team won.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's still disheartening. Like every time Sam Bradford got picked off was just like heartbreaking, because this game should have been over by the third quarter, and it was not.
Well, the thing is, it was by the end of the third, that's for sure, because the third quarter is when finally their offense took off, and we got to see that Chip Kelly offense really what it was supposed to be, and we didn't see it until the third quarter because it was a defense that was doing everything, and finally in that third quarter, the time of possession was insane, the amount of points, everything they did in that third quarter was amazing, of course, until that red zone, interception. But we finally, I literally was sitting there and I said to my friend,
that was a good interception, though. That wasn't like a terrible pass. Sam Bradford had a few passes that were very questionable to check his eyesight.
You threw it at a guy who was open and ready, and he just happened he just happened to come down.
Defense made a good play on
Yeah,
that.
a guy came down on top of him.
I feel like that was a good defensive play rather than a poor offensive play. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's interesting too, because I know there are other sources out there that do have these statistics, but sometimes these interceptions, you know what I mean? Like sometimes there's something more to it. Just then, when you think interception, you think the quarterback screwed up, and that doesn't always happen.
Oh yeah, Eli Manning had one of those today. Where I mean, it looked more like a strip than an interception. I mean, it
was a strip.
Yeah,
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah,
Ryan stripped the ball from Donnell.
That was absurd. That was an absolute. The fact that that's called an interception doesn't make sense to me.
True. I kind of feel like there should be another.
Well, you could technically call it. You could technically call it a fumble, but it's within those 3.
Yeah,
it goes
it's
down
literally
to the books
3
as
seconds.
an interception.
Yeah,
because if you can strip the ball from a receiver within the 3 seconds it takes them to catch the ball, it's an interception.
But still, in the same sense, that's not something that is the fault of Eli Manning. And I feel like and maybe the definition has changed, but for watching the game for over 30 years, like I've been, I feel like by definition, if someone says he threw an interception, you think the fault of the quarterback.
Yes,
absolutely.
I think that's the generic.
It goes against his stats.
Yeah. And we have, other things that happen when we talk about the Eagles' run game. I mean, DeMarco Murray had 130 yards in the first 4 games, and he had 109 yards tonight.
Yeah.
Clearly, something's different. Do you really think that it's just the D is that bad? I feel like your guys' offensive line showed up too. It's finally, and that's something that's different. If you give Sam Bradford time, if you make these holes, DeMarco Murray will find them. Sam Bradford will throw the ball. He had some huge passes.
And we've seen DeMarco Murray behind a great offensive line last season.
Right.
The man could run behind a great offensive line. And it looks like this season, because I always used to make the joke about DeMarco Murray that he runs at 75% all the time. Like when he was on the Cowboys, it always looked like he was running down going doop 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 doop. But on the Eagles, it looks like he has to run hard because he doesn't have that line to back him up the same way. But you're right. Tonight they gave him a little more effort, and so he looked a lot better.
Yeah, and I think that, a lot of people were, and even us, a lot of people were questioning his first 2 games, he had 11 yards total, and they were even talking tonight about how he only had 3 10-plus yard runs the whole season, and you expect more of that. But in the same sense, I feel like there's more components to just, give him, it's not like his legs just aren't working, it's the opportunities aren't being created for him. It's not just him. So I like to see that. I like him. I like to see guys do what they're meant to do, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, I also, and I'm sure a lot of fantasy owners of DeMarco Murray are very excited for him to finally live up to the first round potential.
Well, the downside is that probably no one in fantasy played him this week because
I'm sure they played him.
He's had so many dead weeks. They probably benched him this week. If anyone actually is watching, they played DeMarco Murray. Please write in because I would be really curious to see.
I think he had. As a player, he had too much strength to not he's one of those people that's he's like a top 10 pick.
Yeah, in the first round.
So unless that person's hurt, if that person's dressing, you need to start them.
You know what? I traded away C.J. Anderson, so he was my first round.
Well, that's
pick,
the
so
difference.
That was a bad
but if you trade him away, someone else is going to use
because I
it.
benched him. I benched him to begin with.
Yeah,
I was like, he wasn't giving me anything for weeks.
Well, all this talk about fantasy football, guys, just so you guys know, we love that you guys watch the show. In order for us to keep bringing you these shows for free, that's right, we're free. It doesn't cost you anything to hang out with us. We have some great sponsors, and one of those great sponsors is DraftKings.
Yeah, DraftKings.
And, DraftKings, the thing that's different about DraftKings for most fantasy football platforms is that each week you can play a new team. So pretty much if you hate your team this week, if you're like, oh my God, they all got hurt, whatever the case, you can play a new team next week, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes you make a bad choice and you wish you can, revamp it next week.
I actually had a DraftKings team up this week, and I was so close. Oh my gosh! I picked up Chris Ivory. It was really nice. Andy
That's
Dalton,
my boy,
right?
The beast of the East.
31 points he put up for me, and then of course Andy Dalton. But then I tried to do the tag team with AJ Green, and that's what killed me this week.
That's how you do it.
That's how you win, guys. I'm going to tell you, that's the tip right there. Get that double points right there between your quarterback and receiver, but just miss it this week.
Yeah.
Next week.
Or if you just pick a team that'll blow out a team, pick their defense and their quarterback.
Get that money.
But that would be a safer bet.
Yeah.
I digress.
And it's crazy because DraftKings is crowning a new millionaire every week this season. That's just insane. You could turn your love for football into a life-changing payday. I think you should do that. Payday.
You got this.
I totally got this.
It's a payday for a payday.
Yeah, I mean, I would play to get paid.
If I got a payday, I think I'd play that day.
And if I win next week, that $1 million, I'm going to come in for my Monday night AfterBuzz with a golden chalice AfterBuzz cup.
And season Jets tickets for me, Stef Z.
There you go. Why not? If I'm a millionaire, heck yeah.
That's all I want.
Season tickets.
Yeah, so you guys out there, and also, you guys, we have this great promotional code for you guys. So if you hurry now to DraftKings.com and enter the promotional code BUZZ, BUZZ, you play for a free shot at $1 million in this week's Millionaire Makeover event. Which is kind of crazy.
Get in on
money.
that.
No
Get in
whammies.
on that. Go play. Pick my Jets D. I'm just saying.
They're playing well, let's be honest.
I mean,
Jets are looking good.
They are looking good. You know who else is looking good? I mean, the Eagles. I hate to say it, but they're kind of looking. I know.
This is
The
the
Eagles,
most...
but in the same sense, it's like when you have an ugly, mediocre game of football, the team that wins is still looking good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you have to be able to get it back together
Especially
after
when
all
they
that.
win by 20.
Not even that. The Giants' defense, the hurry-up offense that Chip Kelly runs, you saw them huffing and puffing. They couldn't keep up.
That's the point. Because what's frustrated me about Chip Kelly's no-huddle offense, and I've tweeted about it fairly regularly, is when it does what it did tonight, which is make a defense just play from behind the entire way, because there's no chance for them to huddle either.
Right.
It takes the clock down. It frustrates the defense, and then makes more opportunities. Mm-hmm. What it's been doing before tonight is making a 3-and-out only take 90 seconds off the clock.
Yeah.
Right.
Which we did see tonight a few times also.
Yeah. And that's bound to happen, but he tries to, this offense did work together in that sense, that they found their stride and they were able to pretty much just trounce the defense in the long game.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. You know what was interesting too? You saw a lot of, because there was so many turnovers and so many things happening, you saw people for the Giants, you saw Jennings, at sometimes he looks like a beast. He's running through people, but then he fumbles. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it was like nobody was, for lack of a better word, nobody was immortal. There was no player that just kind of did everything right.
Nope. Yeah, and I will say this though, coming to that defense, that Eagles defense, which prior to the season starting, I was very high up on, and then in the first 4 weeks, I was like, wow, how did I miss? I was like, I really thought I nailed this one. I mean, we saw them I'm in 3 fantasy leagues, and we saw a lot of high drafts from that Eagles defense, and they were letting everyone down, and we're seeing not much play from them now. But this game, that defense looked hungry. They reminded me of the Saints. The year the Saints won the Super Bowl, Bring the Wood.
Yeah.
They were hitting at the ball. They were slashing at the ball. I mean, they looked hungry.
The Eagles, too, they do have... Not only did the defense look hungry, the offense looked hungry as well. I mean, you take a guy like Jordan Matthews. That guy always puts in the extra effort, no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what. And it's like, this team has heart. I mean, I really think at the end of the game, this Eagles team, they've been through a lot of changes. There's been a lot of discrepancies. There's been a lot of banter and talk about them. At the end of the day, these players have heart. They had a new system. They had a lot of changes. They're figuring it out. I don't know. I think they're going to... I would be a little nervous if I was in that division.
You're talking turning point right here for the Eagles.
I kind of am.
You really are feeling the turn.
Because it was a different energy watching this. Because, again, I watched the Eagles in week 3, was it when they played the Jets? Week 2?
3.
Week 3. Yeah. And it was a different team. And you guys won, and that's fine, but it was a different feel. It was like the Jets we beat ourselves, that team, rather than the Eagles winning. And even though the Giants somewhat had a sloppy game, the Eagles had just as much of a sloppy game, so the Eagles won. You know what I mean? It wasn't like the Giants totally just beat themselves.
Oh, yeah.
It was sloppy on both sides. And the Eagles prevailed because they kept it together. They have the heart, and they kind of had more discipline. Yeah. The penalties were ridiculous again.
Oh, geez.
And it's like unnecessary penalties, like roughing the passer after, like way after, roughing the kicker.
You can tell how sloppy that Eagles team was, because the next week they faced the Redskins and couldn't do it.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
The Redskins.
I'm sorry, I mean the team from Washington.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I agree.
Wait, is it California where you can't say that?
No.
There's a state or city you can't say that.
No, there's...
What?
gosh.
Let's just...
There's actually... I can't remember who's on the radio. It's 2 people from ESPN. If it's Max and Marcellus or, Mason in Ireland. And they are... they will not say the name of that team.
I think it...
Until they change it.
It is what it is. It's not our whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, I understand what you're saying. They were sloppy, and in that game, the Jets, we beat ourselves. We played terrible because we've got it together somewhat too. But in this game, it wasn't that. Even though there were turnovers, even though there was stuff, it was the Eagles got it together in the end, and they prevailed. And I do think it's a turning point. I mean, do you think it's a turning point for your team, or do you think? I mean,
There were 2 moments tonight.
Yeah.
Where I wanted to be excited and buy in, and then I remembered how many times I've been burned. Once was this Eagles team.
Right.
The other was the Star Wars trailer.
I was just gonna bring that up.
Wait, before we go there, I just want to say
your...
Ben burned me. He says, "Come on, John, I started him. Come on, John, start him." DeMarco Murray, because I was dogging DeMarco Murray.
Ben Murray, that's fantasy stats guru.
Yeah,
that's our boy Ben.
Yeah,
you can't not start him because of his value.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wanted to get them before we go.
Yeah, there's implied value, but yes. I've been burned before on both counts.
I have not seen the trailer yet.
Wait, no, wait.
It's amazing. But
well, let's stick to the Eagles first. Say how you've been burned. I mean, just consistently, you've been burned because you've had hope for the team,
I have eternal hope for that team. They're like family. Like in my heart of hearts, I'm like, no, they're gonna win. This is a turning point. They're always gonna win. That like I've learned to just silence that voice when it comes to being a person that doesn't want to look stupid.
Yeah.
So whenever I make a prediction of no, the Eagles, this is a turning point, it's absolutely the best, I always have to preface it with, I was born in Philadelphia.
Yeah, right.
This is my team. That said, they still looked fairly inconsistent tonight. Yeah. They looked better than they have all season.
They looked inconsistent, but the thing that stuck out for me is that when something bad happened, they bounce back. Yes. Normally, it just gets worse.
That is true.
Yeah. And that, for me, again, because of me being a Jets fan and seeing having similar seasons for so long, that's little things like that make me realize, okay, wait, they're not just like falling down the rabbit hole.
Yep. Yeah. But also, but this is the same team that in like week 1 and week 2 they had like terrible first halves.
Right.
Like I think it was week 1 against Atlanta, where they had such a terrible first half and then still came from behind that I was just like, oh, this is...
But you guys didn't beat Atlanta.
We didn't beat Atlanta.
No.
Am I talking about Dallas?
I don't know. Atlanta was undefeated.
I feel like I remember feeling in the first 2 weeks of this team, there was one good game.
You guys played Dallas week 2.
Yes.
Yeah. And you beat them.
That's the game I'm referring to.
Okay,
It was at home. I should have...
No, that's fine.
But I'm referring to the fact that the first half of that game, it was like the Washington High School Eagles.
Right.
Sometimes that happens, and I lived close to Washington High School in Philadelphia, so that's a nice reference.
I get it. And again, it is that bittersweet of like, you see Jordan Matthews make a great play, and then the next play you see Posley intercept for the Giants to get it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like a seesaw.
The whole game was like
it was like literally like a seesaw. It was like, you're like, yes, we just did this. Whoa, what just happened? But in the same sense, like it could have been anyone's game. And for me, thinking you have a veteran quarterback like Eli Manning, I think he's still going to come back and win it. And he didn't. I mean, Sam Bradford's... Not that he's a rookie or new, but he's not a vet like Eli Manning.
He's been injured for so long.
True.
I will also say Eli Manning is not the best quarterback.
He's definitely not.
And I think he can get stuck in quicksand at games like this. A lot more than he can dig out of them.
But he has so many times. Exactly. He's got the shovel.
Yeah.
He's got the shovel to dig out. Sometimes he's just like, not going to do it. But I thought he was going to do it. This is a big
crazy.
rivalry game.
Is this really the Eagles' first half touchdown? Is
yes.
it in the entire season? This
yes,
is their
it is.
First game.
I have that written down.
Wow. They're a terrible first half team.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so
that's a remarkable stat.
So talking about the first half, we did, and something so funny happened tonight, and I couldn't even handle it. So everyone's freaking out about Star Wars. I personally don't 100% get the freak out. That's fine.
You got to be into it.
I'm into it. I love it. I have an affinity to it. I have a tie to Star Wars in many different ways. But I got a text tonight from a co-host of mine on a show, a Project Runway show, asking, I need to know what's happening in the Giants game. And I was like, sweet. Like, I didn't know that you liked football. Like,
yeah.
Sweet. And I'm like, I'm a little bit behind. I'm fast forwarding through the commercials, catching up. I'll let you know when I get caught up, Literally, the next text, like an hour later, I didn't hear anything. So I texted her. I'm like, hey, I'm all caught up. And she was like, okay, cool. She's like, yeah, I saw it. I was just in line getting tickets for Star Wars, and I needed to know what was happening with Star Wars. I was like, are you serious? So apparently they played the new trailer.
They played the new trailer at halftime.
At halftime.
Everyone outside stopped what they were doing to watch it. Like everyone outside who's normally watching TV shows to recap them. They all crowded around a TV, myself included.
My question is, why Monday Night Football on ESPN? Why was that
ABC,
the platform?
Disney
owns
Yes,
ESPN?
there it is.
Yep.
There it is.
That's
Got
the
it.
whole.
Disney
That's the whole
owns
thing.
everything.
That's just it's lateral integration.
Okay,
That's a
'cause it
business
just
thing. They're
seemed like that totally makes sense now. I didn't know that Disney
And the
owned.
pre-sales are today. They released that. They
I
released
did
that
know
poster
that,
over
and
the weekend.
everyone's like, I was with somebody who was trying to buy the tickets, and it was the computers were crashing. Like it was crazy.
It's ridiculous.
I don't. Again, I love Star Wars.
Well-
I'm a huge Stormtrooper fan. I just don't.
I have a theory on things I know I'm going to watch, like this, is that I don't go out of my way to find the trailer. That like I know Christmas Day.
I don't like trailers. I'm with you on that.
But like, a trailer should sell you on the thing.
Yeah.
If I'm already sold, however begrudgingly, just on paper, on another Star Wars movie, I'm not going to seek out a trailer
Right.
because I'm already sold. Same thing with Avengers.
Yeah. I just thought
Everyone
it,
was freaking out about an Avengers Age of Ultron trailer. I'm like,
Yeah.
You're going to go anyway. So
Well, it was just
They have my
interesting
money.
because in sport, even on like Sports Center's Twitter, Instagram, they had, a picture of all the screens in the production room and saying the Force is with us here at Sports Center. And I was just, the amount of promotion that was happening this early, the fact that we pre-sell tickets 2 months before a movie blows my mind a little bit. It's amazing. It's Star Wars. I get it. I'm a big fan.
this thing is
but
about
it
to
was
break
kind
some
of-
box office records. Let's be real about that.
I hope it's as
or-
good as everyone wants it
or
to be.
disappoint a whole new generation
Yeah.
That's
of
exactly
Star Wars
right, yeah.
fans.
And then they will feel like us as football fans.
Yeah, watching this game
Yeah.
tonight.
Okay, so that was the big halftime event, and it was funny. I didn't know until I started watching it that was going to happen. So it was interesting to get random texts from people that don't watch sports of my friends because they knew I would be watching sports to find out something Star Wars. So it was really interesting. Okay, then we come back, and again, you think that after the half, it was going to be something different. Both teams might have had to talk in the locker room, like, what's happening? Nope, still sloppy football.
Yeah,
Also,
we went in 17-7, right? So the Eagles, you have a 10-point lead at this point. So you think, yeah, you're right. Adjustments are going to be made, especially because regardless of how ugly it was, you're going down by 10 points, the Giants. So you've got to come back strong.
To a
and-
longtime division rival.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
When it's any NFC East team versus another NFC East team, it's not just that week. It'll be the following week. It'll be the second time you face them that season, the likelihood you'll face them if you're both good teams in the playoffs, and the fact that you've been teams since the NFL.
Yeah, and not just that. This specific division, I think in the last 4 years, each one of them has won the division.
Yep.
Right.
Which is an amazing stat.
Well, and it's the division also where their records 2-3, 3-3, 3-2.
Yeah.
Not
Anyone's
3-3 yet,
game.
but it's
It's tight.
still there's not one that's like rising to the top.
yeah,
and
we're
it-
not talking
and-
about the New England Patriots just running away with it.
They're gonna lose next week to the Jets.
But at the same thing, like this isn't. I think the past couple years, this is not the division where people just run away with it by now.
Exactly, that's what I'm
This
saying.
is a tight this is a
division is
competitive
always
division.
you could get to the playoffs in this division with an 8-8 record, 9-7.
Historically, the past couple years, a team has run away with it in the back eight.
Right, but I'm saying
You could.
it's the division most likely that something like that could happen.
Yes.
I think.
Or
I'm
the
pretty
one
sure.
the one Detroit's in.
NFC is more than AFC. That's happened.
Yes, the
Yeah.
NFC.
Yeah,
Oh, the
yeah.
NFC is a weaker division.
Exactly.
Yeah.
By far than the AFC.
Yeah.
But yeah, what else stood out to you guys? Was there anything? Eli Manning's intentional groundings twice. For me, the veteran quarterback needs to know how to get rid of the ball.
I would argue one of those was to save a pretty gnarly sack. A pretty gnarly sack that could have been a fumble.
But
That's what
still,
one of them looked like. That's
still,
one of the few. Like I remember watching that play in particular. That was one of the few times intentional.
Was it the
grounding.
first one or the second one?
I think it was the first one.
Yeah, when he
That looked like no, he was gonna hit the ground with no one behind him. If his arms were really wonky. He was mid throw. That had he not thrown the ball and intentionally grounded it, it would have
been
possibly
worse.
been a fumble. No one would have been around except other Eagles to pick it up, and it would have been another 6 points for that defense. And as a fantasy owner of that defense, I would have been okay with it.
Yeah, right. I think it's really disappointing because Eli Manning coming into this game was actually looking really nice.
Yeah.
Especially having the horrible year that he had last year. He was looking a lot better. His mechanics were looking a lot better. They were talking about it, especially before the game, about how he's changed his footing. He's constantly moving within the pocket. He's just been looking a lot stronger. And then in this game, he was like classic last year Eli Manning just looked awful.
And
Bad
to be fair, a
decisions
couple
all
times
around.
in the first half, that pocket was falling apart on him.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
still came out on top of it.
Yeah.
But they never made that correction where eventually the pocket would just fall apart on him. And it had happened so long in the night that it was like, well, nope, now he's going to get sacked.
And, he had options. Odell Beckham Jr. came in with a hamstring injury, but looked great.
Oh.
He actually looked absolutely fine.
No, I
He
think
looked
his ham
sprightly.
is fine now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he has an injury anymore. But
No,
I
looks
feel
sprightly.
like, and again, we saw it, it was the end of the third quarter, and there was 18 penalties and 6 turnovers, which is crazy because certain things happen. Like you see Moore sack Bradford, and he's pretty much got a safety, and then there's 12 men on the field. It's like they couldn't get it together.
That was exciting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
We're
Everything
so
is making you
happy.
Yeah.
Was so happy with that. Because I just saw that, and I was just that typical Robert De Niro from Silver Linings Playbook face where I'm just like this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you're
I'm
like,
oh,
of course.
great, it's a safety. And then it's like, oh, the Giants can't even do that.
Yeah.
They can back us up, but they'll have too many people on the field.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then right after that play, I believe, was when Sam Bradford made that great fake, the great handoff fake, and then
Yes.
threw it to Austin. It was
That was
Beautiful.
fantastic.
really, that was great.
Fantastic.
That was great. And it's plays like that make games. You know what I mean? Like it's plays like that keep it going through the ugliness, being able to pull stuff like that off.
Yeah. I just want to see the Eagles beat someone handedly.
Well, and
like
when you look at the
all
score
four
they
quarters.
did.
But like,
The
I
score.
want them to just look like. Honestly, I want them to look like a team that can beat someone 27-7 all 4 quarters. I didn't get that. I haven't gotten that this season.
No, I don't think you guys are there yet, but I do
I
think...
want to see it.
I'll
I'll settle for this.
Right.
Do this every week. I'm good.
Yeah, when you're winning by 20 plus points, yeah, of course. Might
Yeah.
as well. It's so interesting. I mean, I want to know if I want to attribute this to the Eagles, or maybe 50-50, or to the Eli Manning having a horrible game. The fact that he has so many weapons on offense. he's got some great receivers and tight ends to throw to, and it just wasn't happening.
Yeah.
Is that a compilation of Eagles and great Eagles defense and a poor Eli Manning day, or was that just one or the other?
I think the pour was fair. The amount of pour back and forth. Like there was some poor plays by the Eagles offense. There was some poor plays by the Eagles defense. There was some poor by the Giants offense. Some poor by there was nothing that it wasn't like, oh my God, the Giants got killed because the Eagles D dominated. Like it wasn't that.
Yeah.
Or it wasn't like, oh my God, we couldn't stop, or the Giants couldn't stop the Eagles' offense. There was nothing that was like stood out.
Yeah,
it was
there
just
wasn't
a bunch
a straight
of
narrative
flop.
to that. Like most football games have a narrative like that.
Right, there was no
That's pretty
narrative
clear.
to what was happening.
Even shootout football games, or even blowout, like a shootout or a blowout. Like that's a pretty clear narrative.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, there's a lot happening.
Right, and that's
So there's a lot to talk about.
a lot of crap.
totally.
just
But that was
happening.
for me why again so much I feel like the Eagles are turning the corner, because in all that crap they were able to do some of the things they've been trying to execute
Yes.
all season. So for me that was again why. But then again, I don't know. You guys play the Panthers next week,
I'm
and
not
Cam
sold.
Newton is. I don't know what's happening over there either.
Steve, I went to school in Philadelphia for a bit, and I'm actually outside of the Chargers. I do enjoy the Eagles, but I'm not sold this year. I'm not sold yet, not yet. This one didn't win me over.
All right, fair enough.
That was also my sentiment. That I enjoy this team, and I love that this team has grown
Right.
into this football team. But our schedule is the Panthers, a bye week, and then the Cowboys.
Right.
And I think we can take the Cowboys, and I'd love for us to take the
Dez
Panthers.
is going to be probably back by then.
Dez will be back by then.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so
I picked
that's
him up in one
interesting.
of my fantasy leagues. Someone dropped him.
What?
They dropped him because he was out for so long. They dropped him, and I checked the wire, and I went done. And he's sitting on my bench right now.
He
I'm
might,
ready.
he might be back next week. They're saying
was-
Oh,
this
that would be
weekend.
awesome.
Oh,
They
I
play
would
the
love that.
They play the Giants.
Yep.
Plays Dallas this week.
Oh, dude, plugged in. Thank God, because I'm getting killed in my leagues. Oh my gosh, I'm in 3 leagues. I'm defending champion of 2 of them right now, and I'm in last place in all 3.
That's pressure.
It's bad. It's
I
bad.
just went.
Yeah, you're terrible. No, I'm just
I'm
kidding.
I really this
I'm
year
on
I
2
am.
leagues, one of which is a bunch of like one of which is the Nerds of the Industry. That's the name of the league. So it's like, because I cover like Gotham and a couple other shows here, so that's what I'm representing. But then there's people there who are like Nerdist and this and that. That was the league where it's like way more serious, and I just went 3-3 today.
Whoa.
Like I just turned it around because it was looking bad.
That old 500.
Yeah.
But then there was another league where I went 2-0. And just the wheels have been falling off.
That's funny.
I think I won last week, so I'm back to 3-2, and I'm not going to win tonight.
Well, with all these predictions, why don't we? Is there anything else you guys wanted to touch on about this game before we move on to our predictions?
I think we're good.
Yeah. I mean,
anything else?
it was
As an
ugly.
Eagles fan,
Eagles
anything?
win.
You have the platform. The mic is yours. Anything
don't-
else you want to say?
You don't want to give an Eagles fan a live microphone.
Hey man, I'm just trying to be fair.
I meant to ask you up top if there's an explicit tag, and then it never.
Yeah, no.
I'm clearly.
Wait, there is one thing which is that we did have a Bradley Cooper sighting.
Yes!
Hey.
Bradley
Yeah.
Cooper sitting in the owner's box
Isn't
with
that
Jeffrey
nice?
Lurie.
Yeah, that was cute.
Lincoln
So
Financial Field looks amazing as always.
Yeah. I like the black uniforms.
I love the black uniforms.
The 49ers did the black at the beginning of the season too that I saw, and I wasn't sold on them because there wasn't a good enough proportion of the color. All they had was the gold swoosh. But the Eagles, I think the Eagles did it right.
The Eagles'
I'll
black
give it to 'em.
uniforms are great, except for the weeks when they do them with green pants.
Oh.
There are some weeks where they do black uniforms with green pants.
Yeah.
And I just want them to never do that ever again.
Yeah, but the
they
straight
still
black,
do.
they looked like they were winning in style.
Oh,
they
yeah.
looked good.
Yeah, they looked clean. They looked together.
Also, I love them when they do the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets on occasion, where
Yeah.
they do the yellow and the Pennsylvania colors, the yellow and then the baby blue.
Right.
That's their throwback jersey because it started.
I like this color. My Jets used to be
course
this
you love
green
this
too.
color.
Yeah, that's
Well,
why
but
you
we
like
used
it.
to be
I
that
like it.
green too. Like we used to be the more Kelly green. Now it's a little bit more, evergreen.
Yes, evergreen.
Yes. All right,
not-
cool.
we're
So
not
now
Steelers
we will
fans.
go to predictions. So Steve, you get to play because you're here, and now and you're welcome to play for the whole season if you'd like.
I'll tweet it in.
Wait, we have to get Tina's predictions at some point because it makes sure.
That's fine. We'll get them. We'll get them before.
Keep our numbers clean.
Yeah, we'll get them beforehand. So we have the Eagles on Sunday play Sunday night. The Eagles play Sunday night football for the next 2 weeks.
Well, they have a bye in between.
By in between, but their next two games
next
are
two
Sunday
games.
night games. They play the Panthers Sunday night. The Giants play the Cowboys, and
Arizona and Baltimore.
and Arizona plays the Ravens for Monday Night Football. So I will start with you, Jonathan. Who are you gonna pick?
Okay, now I'm in the lead right now. I'm 2-3. Or I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm 2-1. I'm in the lead from last week.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So
Who did I pick? Did I pick the Packers or did I pick the Cardinals?
you picked. Let's see.
Ben, fantasy stat.
I know where's that because tonight. You picked the Giants.
I know
right?
I picked the Giants.
You picked the Packers.
I picked the Giants and the Packers, so that's 1-1. And I don't. Did I pick the Steelers or did I pick the Cardinals? I think
You
I might have picked the Cardinals.
We all three of us picked the Cardinals.
Okay, so I'm
you're-
1-2. Tina Cap's 1-2,
I'm
and you're 2-1.
I'm 2-1, so I
Okay.
can't lose my lead here. It's a 1-game lead. Okay, this is what I'm going to do here. First of all, I'm going to go with the Monday night game because I think that'll be obvious for me. I'm going to try once again to go with those Arizona Cardinals.
Okay, so you got the Cardinals.
And it's hard because I do love the Ravens, and I feel like they got to bounce back eventually. But that secondary is absolute garbage on the
yeah,
Ravens.
but so Pittsburgh's kind of was garbage too when they beat them.
I know, but Pittsburgh's been playing way above
I know
their
they
pay grade.
played very well this weekend.
Seriously.
Okay, so Giants or Cowboys?
Okay, this one. Oh gosh, another one with these Giants. I'm gonna go crazy here. I'm going with Giants. I'm going with the Giants over the Cowboys. I think they're gonna put it back together and they're gonna take out the Giants.
All right.
Take
What
out the
about
Cowboys.
the Eagles and the Panthers? Don't make me put you in a padded room.
Okay. Oh boy.
No pressure.
No pressure.
pressure.
I'm gonna put my hand on you here because I'm gonna say I'm sorry. I'm going with the Panthers. How could
would.
I not go with the Panthers?
You
on this one?
would.
The Panthers are looking strong.
All right,
Strong.
sweet. Steve, what do you got? Let's start with the Monday Night Football game for next week. The Cardinals versus the Ravens.
I got Baltimore.
Oh.
They're the favorites though.
Yeah, I got you.
They're the
So you got the
outside.
Giants or the Cowboys?
I got the Cowboys.
Oh, wow, we're totally opposite so
And
far.
you have the Panthers or the Eagles?
The Eagles.
I love you for it. I love
We're
you
completely
for
on
it.
opposites
We are
on
literally
this.
opposite.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm
Here we
gonna
go, Steph. Bring it up.
I'm gonna kind of agree. I'm gonna go Baltimore. I'm gonna go the Cowboys. The Cowboys are starting with Matt Castle, and Dez might be back. So I'm gonna go with the Cowboys, even though I love the Giants. And the the Eagles to me. I don't know why. They're looking strong, but I kind of like Cam, so I'm going to go for the Panthers.
Okay. You know, this week, this is going to change a lot of things in our records here because we've got only one game we're agreeing on here, so that's nice.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to mix it up a little bit.
It's all fun.
All right. I want to go 3-0 and just have the
and
best
then you're
win.
like, I'm going to go 3-0 and then tap out.
Just have the best win percentage. Be like, I have the best win percentage on the panel.
Look,
what
we
is
got
fantasy
Ben.
stats going?
Ben's saying-
Panthers at home, yes. Giants at home. Cardinals at home. Okay, so Ben, what are your predictions?
he
though?
likes-
Ben
I
is
think-
2-1 with me right now.
I think Ben likes the home teams. That's what it looks like.
Panthers, Giants. Oh, we have the same picks again this week. Me and Ben
right.
have the same picks this week.
All right, well, we'll see what happens. Until next week, where can the people find you, Jonathan?
You could find me at KaibaCat, KaibaCat, KaibaCat.
And you guys can find me right here, right now, but also on Twitter at Steve Kaufmann. That is KAUFMANN. I'm on 5 shows here at AfterBuzz TV, so if you just watch those, you'll probably find me, and I tweet about them regularly.
And you guys can find me at IAMSTEFZ. Also, I just started a new clothing line with an ex-NFL player, so you guys should check it out. RareBreedLifestyle.com. Go buy yourself a t-shirt. Take care.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.